Welcome to In Her Voice, a podcast to help you learn how to trust the most important person in your life, yourself. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am your host and fellow traveler as we explore what it means to soften your inner critic, listen to your inner voice, and give yourself permission to be deeply and wholly your wonderful, beautiful self. I'm so glad you're here. Well, hello there. You are listening to In Her Voice, and I am Kelly Covert, and I just want to say thank you for being here. I had the first interview of the season last week. If you haven't listened to it, I highly recommend, with Shelley Paxton. It was really good. It had a lot of great takeaways. And today I want to do a really short solo episode with you again on softness. I was walking with a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about softness. She listens to this podcast, and she said, how do you not worry that you're never going to get anything done again? This idea that if you are soft with yourself, you're just going to throw out all of your goals out of the window, and you're just going to sit on the couch all day and eat candy. And this is a feeling that I know, I understand this feeling. I recognize it. I fear it, if I'm being completely honest with myself. And this is especially true for those of us who are perfectionists and chronic overachievers. And I do believe that there are some people that are not going to get what I'm about to say. And that's okay. But if you get what I'm about to say, then you get it. And this episode is for you. This idea that we have to be productive all of the time is something that we put on ourselves. And it's almost as if we're not doing something with every free minute of our day, then we're being lazy. And for me, lazy used to be a really scary word. That is not a word that I would want anybody to say in reference to me. And I was terrified that everyone automatically thought I was lazy. And one time I said that to my husband, and he looked at me like I had just told him the earth was flat. He was like, no one is ever going to think that you're lazy. And I was like, I know, but all of the things that we say. And he was like, I don't think you recognize how much you're doing all of the time. And see, that's part of the danger. When you are a perfectionist, when you are a chronic overachiever, you think every minute must be filled in order to justify your existence, in order to be good enough. And that just isn't true. And it's really hard to shift that belief, but and this is a big but, it can be so rewarding because all of a sudden you have time in your life for the things you really want to do, the things that you really desire, instead of all of the stuff you think you should do or that you have to do. So, the question, number one, what happens if you never get anything done? If you are so soft with yourself and so kind to yourself that you just don't do anything ever again. And to this question, I want to offer a reality check. Be realistic with yourself about what you mean by never getting anything done again. Because what does that actually mean? I think that what that actually means is you might stop accomplishing things. You're not going to stop living your life. You're not going to stop cleaning your house. You're not going to stop taking care of your kids. You're not going to stop taking care of yourself. You're not going to stop eating, right? In reality, what do you actually mean by I'm never going to get anything done? I think that what that means is I'm never going to accomplish anything. I'm never going to do anything big. I'm never going to take on a new goal. And that can be really scary for overachievers like me. I include myself in this, who feel like the accomplishing is what life is all about. And when we get into that mode where it's always about the next thing, what's the next goal, what's the next thing, we lose track of the fact that living our daily life can be enough. And I'm not saying you're never going to do anything ever again, that you're never going to accomplish anything, but that is a myth that we tell ourselves in order to keep ourselves busy, in order to keep ourselves moving all of the time. And it comes from fear. It comes from the fear of like, if I'm honest with myself, if I'm soft with myself, will I get so comfortable that I will never move again? And I want you to hear me when I say, I promise you, you will continue moving. The movement might look different. The goals might look different. And that's a beautiful and wonderful thing, because when you take the time to rest and to get clear on what you actually want to spend your time on, then you are choosing according to your inner voice instead of according to what your parents said or what your friends do or what you think you should be doing or what so-and-so is doing or any other forms of comparison that you might bring onto yourself. If you are exhausted from doing all of the things all of the time, from always chasing goals, from always trying to find the next accomplishment, the next achievement, the remedy to that exhaustion is not doing more things. And that seems so simple, right? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. But are you being honest with yourself about what you're willing to set aside in order to welcome in softness instead of beating yourself up all the time? The other piece of this that I really want to dig into, which I think is so interesting, is this idea of good habits. Listen, I have a beautiful planning journal that's all about habits, creating kinder habits to support yourself. There is nothing wrong with habits. But when we get so stuck in what our quote unquote daily habits are, even if they're good ones, that can keep us locked in to a cycle of being hard on ourselves. So here's a perfect example. I saw on Facebook this person that I know who has been doing a run streak. So she has run every single day. I don't know how long. I don't know how long she's run every single day, but every single day she's run some distance for the last 800 days. Okay, that is a huge accomplishment. Hats off to her for doing this. But when I see that, what I see is someone who values the streak, who values the habit more than they value themselves. When you're just chasing after a streak like this, guess what you're not doing? You're not asking yourself, is this what I really need today? Is this what I really want today? Is this what my body needs today? You're actually denying yourself the opportunity to be in connection with your inner voice. And I know that this is hard. If you are routine oriented, if you live and die by your routine, you have to be really honest with yourself about what that means. Are you allowing yourself softness? Are you allowing yourself to be honest about what you need? It's mind-blowing, really, because I think we think about good habits and maybe we even look at other people who have these habits. We're like, oh, I wish I could be like them. But you have to be honest with yourself when you're doing these kinds of things, when you're leaning into these kinds of habits. And like I said, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with good daily habits. I'm just saying you have to lead with the question, is this for me today? And remember that if the answer on one day is no, on another day, it will be yes. That's where the trust comes in. I think those of us who are used to being in motion constantly are so afraid that if just on one day we say no, that we're never going to say yes again. And what kind of trust in yourself is that? You are powerful. You are amazing. You have wisdom well beyond what you give yourself credit for. And if you start to trust yourself to answer these questions honestly and listen to them, that is the best daily habit that you can have. And leading always with that is so beautiful and so magnificent and so life-changing. When we are soft with ourselves, what we are doing is we are creating room for more energy. Being hard on yourself takes energy. It requires energy. You have to give the energy away to do that. When you are soft with yourself, you create room for more energy. And that means more energy to do the things that you're passionate about, to do the things that you love, to do the things that light you up, to do the things that make you feel good in your heart and in your soul and in your body. It allows you to work on your relationships. It allows you to excel in your career. It allows you to identify where you want to be in 5 years. All of that requires room and space. And it requires energy that being daily hard on yourself doesn't allow for. It is exciting to believe in ourselves. And it's even more exciting, actually, than keeping up that run streak, right? Or in, saying, I have done this every single day for this many days. That's impressive. An 800-day run streak, that's impressive. But what is more impressive to me is someone who is willing to listen to their inner voice. And if we can get just as excited about that as we can about an 800-day run streak, that is when we are living into how we were meant to live. The other day, I had an anxiety dream. And I used to have them all of the time. And like this particular anxiety dream is I'm moving and I have to pack and I only have like 1 hour to pack and I haven't done anything. Okay, so it's all about fitting everything into a small space and a small amount of time. And when I have these anxiety dreams, I literally dream them all night long. And I do not wake up feeling rested. I wake up feeling anxious. And I have recognized over the years that when I have these dreams, it's a signal to me that somehow in something that I'm doing, I'm out of alignment. And so when I woke up the other morning from this dream, I was like, isn't that interesting? Because a lot of times when I have these dreams, I don't feel anxious during the day, but then it shows up at nighttime for me. And so I really had to be honest with myself and say, what do I need to let go of right now in order to soothe this anxiety, in order to make room for the things that I want to have happen in my life? And the beauty of that for me is I practice softness on a daily basis. And so I can allow things to be set aside without worrying that I'm not going to pick them back up again. And, isn't it interesting that I use those words? I allow things to be set aside as opposed to I let things slide. They sound a lot the same, right? But it's different. This is a choice that you are making to say, I set this aside for now. And I will return when the time is right. And how do you know that the time is right? You're asking yourself daily, what is right for me today? So using powerful questions, using the things that our bodies and our minds are showing us, like anxiety dreams, right? And understanding that even a good habit can keep us locked into being hard on ourselves. All of those things keep us from softness. But when we apply softness first, we open up space. We create space for more. We allow ourselves to want what we actually want. It's all so beautiful. I want to end with this Adam Grant quote that I saw on Instagram the other day. And I shared it in my stories. If you follow me there, you probably saw it. But he said, beating yourself up doesn't make you stronger. It leaves you bruised. And I thought, wow, that is spot on. We think that beating ourselves up is going to motivate us. It doesn't. It leaves us wounded and exhausted and unable to do our life's work. And so I will leave you with this. If you are really wanting to live into your purpose, whatever that is, even if you might not know what it is, and that's okay. Not everybody knows. That's okay. I promise you that leaning into softness will open that up for you. It will open up the space to do the things that are most important to you. And when you are honest with yourself, truly honest, you can trust that the things you say no to today, you will be able to say yes to them in the future. It's not all or nothing. It's not end all be all. There is room for you to be soft with yourself. Remember this each and every day that you walk this earth. You are worthy.